Marlon, please sit down. Please sit down, Marlon. Please sit down. Welcome back to In Sync with Alexi, guys. Hello. Marlon is passed out between his dog bed and my cozy chair on the ground. So if you can picture that. There's no video today. I cannot figure out my technology, so you're just gonna have to listen to my voice. So strap in, baby. We got a lot to talk about. I went to my friend Elena's. She works all the time and she's never in town, and it was just one of those rare Saturday nights that she happened to be here, wasn't out on the trail, and so a couple of us got together and went to her place, and it was so lovely. It's like our OG girl gang from Axios. We all started like on the news desk back in the day, and we were such babies, like literally like 22, 23 babies. And I'm just so glad that we've all stayed friends over the years, even though we're all like at totally different jobs now. Some of us are married, some are getting engaged, some are thinking about having children soon. Some, like myself, are still just figuring it all out. And speaking of, I have an amazing friend named Haley. So if any of you guys are out there listening and you think you would be a good candidate for my friend Haley and you live in the DMV, please let me know. She's tall, blonde, and super smart. She covers the Pentagon and is just incredible. She's an Army reporter. She travels like everywhere with them. She breaks incredible news all the time. So hit me up because I am on a mission to be a matchmaker in 2025. So help me realize my dreams, but more importantly, help us find someone good for Haley. I'm also inspired by the most recent season of Love is Blind. If you've been listening, you know. If you've been listening, you know I've been watching Love is Blind DC. And Hunter Harris, who's this amazing writer who has a Substack and a podcast called Let Me Say This. She wrote in her Substack newsletter that the Love is Blind DC cast and like season is worse than the January 6th insurrection. I have to agree. Listen, I know we do business in the front, party in the back around here, and we're going to keep doing that. But there are just some things I gotta get out of my mind, out of my brain at the top here, because I can't stop thinking about that. I cannot stop thinking about her saying that it's worse than the insurrection, and she's right. Love is Blind DC is quite possibly worse than the January 6th, 2021 insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. If you heard it here first, that's not my take. It's from Hunter Harris, but I do think she might be right. I think she might be onto something. The men are diabolical on this season. Some of the women also diabolical, but the behavior from some of these men, truly, you guys, it's truly diabolical. There's one man on there who has 3 children in the world, and didn't tell the woman that he got engaged to until 2 weeks before their wedding. And mind you, this man had brought up the idea of having kids with his Love is Blind fiance, and he still didn't say, hey, by the way, just wanted to let you know. Allegedly, he was a sperm donor for his lesbian friend, and they couldn't afford a sperm donor, so they used him. Sounds noble. It sounds like something you'd be proud of, no? And apparently, like, they're not, like, he's not in their life. Like, they don't call him dad or act like he's dad or anything. So I don't know why you would hide it. Doesn't that sound suspect? You only hide things if there's something to hide. Speaking of, Steven, we need to see your text messages right now. Guys, there's this guy, Steven, on there who, I talked about this briefly before. He is biracial. His dad is black, but he is white passing, and he didn't know until recently, like in the last couple of years, that he is biracial. So his whole life he thought he was just white. Steven, baby, Steven. We need to see those text messages. Anyway, he got linked up with this woman, and while they're filming the season of Love is Blind, he's like, yo, peace, I'm going to go do a sleep study at the University of Maryland or somewhere. So he goes to do a sleep study. Obviously, they can't bring cameras to this sleep study because it's like private and whatever. Sorry if you hear my coffee in the background. It's like my second coffee today. I also have a Coke and a water, so it is the holy trinity of hangover drinks. That's what I get. No, what I get from McDonald's is like A strawberry banana smoothie, a Sprite, and a Coke. That's the holy trinity from McDonald's when you're hungover. Maybe a coffee, but I do think Sprite-Coke combo is pretty solid. Anyway, guys, this man, Steven, fully engaged, goes to do a sleep study. While he's there, he's like sexting something fierce to some woman. Something so bad that the woman he's engaged to from the show, when she found out, she called it disgusting. And she said that it was a fetish. And Netflix just hasn't followed up. We need the receipts. We need to see the screenshots of the text messages. And more than that, I'm going to be honest. More than wanting to see Steven's screenshots of his text messages, you guys, I think that we deserve to see Garrett's text messages to his ex-girlfriend. Taylor, I love you. I think you're amazing. You're so smart, so cute, so cool. Like last night at Elena's during our wine night, we were literally like, wait, we should find Taylor. We literally were like, we should find Taylor in DC and like see if she wants to be friends, because I think we would all vibe. So if you're listening, Taylor, we love you and we'd like to be friends. So let me know. But her fiance, Garrett, lied about texting his ex-girlfriend back and then either deleted the messages or didn't have them to show us or to show Taylor, because he said he just liked a message that he received from his ex-girlfriend, like just thumbs up it, you know, with the little reaction emoji thing. And come to find out, whole time, this man had actually responded to her. Why wouldn't you tell your fiance, like, hey babe, my ex-girlfriend texted me this morning, totally random, but don't worry about it. I shut it down. I told her that I met someone and that we're engaged and we're getting married in a couple of weeks. Like, if you feel weird about it, let's talk about it. But like, I just wanted to let you know. You could say any variation of that. Instead, he lied. Why would you lie? I don't get it. Why would you lie if you supposedly responded and shut it down and you were like, hey, I'm engaged? What? No, Steven. No, Garrett. Garrett, your sneaky behavior is making me call you Steven, and I don't like that because I like you, I think. But it was kind of confusing when you were asking about whether... You were trying to find out about race, and you were saying that Taylor was being sneaky by not telling you her race. And I just think you were trying a little too hard to find someone who you could ensure was either white or white passing. White or white enough, truly. I do think that's what you were looking for, so I would like to know, Garrett. I would like to know, the people would like to know, and honestly, I would like to know what your text message said, because I don't know why you would lie about that. What do you guys think? Why would he lie about something like that? I don't know. I don't like it. I have trust issues. You guys know I have trust issues. I used to love... We need to get for real for a second. I'm going to come clean. I used to love going through my ex-boyfriend's phones. I used to love that shit. It is so diabolical and toxic and messy. And it is such a violation of boundaries, and I am not proud of it. I am not proud of it, but I used to love the rush. It is a sick thrill. The rush, it's so visceral. I can feel it in my forearms. My heart starts beating fast. My stomach is like kind of twisting in knots, but I don't know if it's because I'm excited or because I know I'm about to find out something that I really, really don't want to know. Like every single time I have gone through an ex-boyfriend's phone, I have found something horrible. And to be fair to them, I usually wouldn't stop looking until I found something that I could be upset about. I know I can't be alone in this, but I'm crazy. I would like search my name. I wouldn't just search through the messages. I would search through the folders, through the screenshots specifically. Those will really get you. The hidden folder is now locked down, which I don't know if I should thank Apple for that or curse them, because like it's impossible to get into the hidden folder now. But I do think like that's just sort of like you have to just move on from that and go to other places. The Notes app, the subscriptions, if you go to the settings and then go to their iCloud, their subscriptions, you can see what they're paying for. Maybe they're paying for a dating app. Who knows? Maybe they're paying for a dating app, but the dating app has been deleted from their home screen, so you never see it. Maybe they don't have notifications for it turned on, but guess what? It'll be in their subscriptions. So go to their settings and look what they're paying for. That'll be interesting. That will be interesting. No, truly, I will be honest. I have been diabolical. Someone's phone, I mean, it's like it's a landmine of things that can make you feel bad about yourself. Like photos of ex-girlfriends, old nudes that they have in there. The worst. That's the worst. I'm so crazy though. Like, oh, this is amazing. I actually can't believe I'm telling on myself like this, but I don't care because I think that's on growth. My ex, when we were living together in New York, one of the first times I ever went through his phone, and yes, I say times because I went through it so many times, I got bored by going through it at a certain point, and he also just knew to like lock it down and delete everything, and it got to a point where he was changing his password like all the time, so it was really messy. In any case, one of the first times I went through his phone, I found, this was before the hidden folder was locked down by the iOS update. Now you need like your Touch ID or your Face ID to get into the hidden photos folder. I did not know this is where the episode was going today, but that's fine. This is what happens when I'm camera off. I do my best thinking when I'm camera off. No, so this was before the iOS update, so you could still get into the hidden photos folder, and obviously that's where everybody puts their nudes, in the hidden photos folder. So I went straight to the hidden photos folder, and I was met with some photos that this person had stored away on his phone from a past hookup. And, you know, I just took the liberty to delete them myself. It's simple as that. Is that toxic? I don't know. I don't think so. Is it petty? Sure. Have I done worse? Yes. But I just thought, you know what? I'm going to delete these. I'm going to delete these sweet little nudes that you have on your phone, young man, because you shouldn't still have these on your phone now that we're dating. And it's the ultimate trap. It is the ultimate trap. What is he going to do? What is he going to do? Come to me and be like, did you go through my phone? Oh, how do you know that? Because you were looking in your hidden photos folder? You were going to look for those hidden photos? And now you wonder if I've been through your phone because they're missing? Is that why you're asking? Trash. Tell me who she was. Tell me everything. Was it good? What did you like so much about her? And what can I do to make you like me more? I am so here for this. I am here for telling on myself. Anyway, sorry to that man, but that was vintage Lexi. That's all I have to say. That was vintage Lexi. I'm off track, but I don't even know that we've really started on track, so this is what you're getting today, you guys. I had a great weekend. I just feel very happy. It's lovely to have more energy to be able to like invest in friendships, both making new friends and reinforcing the relationships I have with women already. I've realized through therapy that I have had a hard time like allowing women into my life and keeping women close, and like I always keep women, like female friendships I will have, but I always keep them at arm's length or further. And like through therapy and healing, I feel like I am just now in a place in the last like 3 weeks, truly, I am just now coming into a place where I have the capacity and the energy to like want to be friends with people, to want to let them in, to want to get to know them more, to want to, you know, expend energy, being social. I just feel like for so long I've been a hermit and I've been isolating myself, and I don't want to do that anymore, so I'm not doing that anymore. So this is new Lexi. This is no longer vintage Lexi. I'm not going through phones, and I am keeping and making friends. And also my therapist told me this past week when I was talking to her about this, she was like, you know, it sounds like you're coming out of active CPTSD, which is complex post-traumatic stress disorder. I didn't even know that CPTSD was a thing. I didn't even know that you could have PTSD from traumatic situations that weren't like properly related to war, you know? Like I truly had only ever heard of it in that setting, like with veterans. So when I started learning about this in therapy and how it applied to myself, it's been completely eye-opening and remarkable I mean, the flashbacks that I would get when I was in active PTSD were so heinous. Ugh, it's like sometimes they would be auditory flashbacks and I would like hear voices from past abusers and like have these crazy dreams about that were really repressed memories revealing themselves to me for the first time. But it's heinous and it's really agonizing to go through, but I am so grateful, so eternally grateful to my therapist, to brain spotting therapy, which is like EMDR, which is for complex trauma and sexual trauma. And I've mentioned this before, that I'm going to deal with the sexual abuse that I experienced in my childhood by my family and other people that they had involved. It's awful. But for the first time, she said that it sounds like I'm coming out of active PTSD, and it just is so heartening and amazing, and I feel like a different person. I feel like a different person, and I just feel so lucky to be here and so grateful to be alive and to have the chance to keep trying to be better every day. So, hello, welcome to the show. It's me. I'm brand new, baby. Anyway, let's talk about politics. Let's talk about politics. There's so much to talk about, guys. Can you believe the election is like 2 weeks away? Because I can't. I panic a little. I have like a little mini internal panic attack every time I think about the election. And then I soothe myself by doing things like reading a Politico magazine article about how Trump could lose the election and assume power anyway. So there's that. It's worth reading the full thing, but we'll go through it a little bit today. Guys, there's just, where do we start? Did you guys watch the Fox News interview with Bret Baier and Kamala Harris? So interesting how he went out of his way to try to help the Trump campaign by trying to make Kamala Harris look bad. Like, he tried to set her up so many times. Obviously, the first question right out of the gate was a complete setup, just trying to bait her into stepping in it by asking her, like, how many illegal immigrant criminals have you released onto the streets as vice president? Obviously trying to set her up to step in it. But later he tried to make her have like a Hillary Clinton basket of deplorables moment. Did you guys notice that? Bret Baier at one point was like, so what? Like, so if you think that Trump is a danger to democracy and to the country, then are the 53% of people who support him misguided? Are they wrong? Are they stupid? Would you call them stupid? She was like, of course I wouldn't. Like, what are you talking about? Of course I wouldn't call the American people stupid, but you know who does? Donald Trump. You know who belittles them and demeans them and degrades them every chance he gets? Donald Trump does. Next question, Bret Baier. It just was wild watching him go out of his way, and of course Fox News go out of their way to try to help the Trump campaign, not by boosting him or lifting him up, but by trying to set her up and bait her into these BS questions and responses. It was just a joke. It was a joke. I've asked it once. I've asked it twice. I'll keep asking it until somebody gets me a straight answer. Is Donald Trump okay? I'm so serious, you guys. Like, I am so grateful for all of you who listen to this podcast, by the way. It's been 1 month. October 15th was our 1 month mark, so let's keep going up and up. But I cannot believe that Donald Trump's mental acuity is just getting worse and cognitive decline is becoming clearer. And I'm just proud of us and our community because that was the very first topic we talked about with this podcast. You guys remember the first episode was literally right after the presidential debate with Kamala and Trump. And he brought up the Haitians and we talked about his mental health then. We need to talk about it again. Why is he talking about Harvey Weinstein? Why is he being sympathetic to Harvey Weinstein, a serial sexual predator? What? Why is he talking about a deceased former pro baseball player's penis? I don't get it. It's always been strange to me the way that Donald Trump talks about other men and treats other men, but his comments lately are just beyond the pale. They're just abnormal, and it's like you truly have to ask if this man is okay. I've talked about this in the podcast too, like after 2 apparent assassination attempts, anyone would suffer some sort of PTSD, anyone would need some sort of therapeutic treatment after that. Anyone. I could guarantee you he is not treating his PTSD that is associated with an assassination attempt. If you literally just Google the symptoms of untreated PTSD, anger, irritability, you're not sleeping as much, so you're tired, your interpersonal relationships suffer, you're prone to outbursts. He's showing textbook examples of untreated PTSD. He's getting angrier and angrier on Truth Social and in his tirades at his rallies. He's getting angrier in the way that he talks about Kamala Harris behind closed doors. Do you guys see the New York Times reporting in which he apparently called her retarded? He's not okay. And now there's detailed reporting about how Trump will try to take power even if he loses the election. I don't want that, do you? It's just, it's a lot. It's scary. It's scary when you think about how Trump has already been laying the groundwork for the idea that the election is rigged and stolen from him. We talked in a couple of episodes back about the weird citizenship law in Arizona and how that had the potential to either disenfranchise voters, which it didn't end up doing because they're allowing people to vote on all ballots. But now it's really just adding fuel to the fire when it comes to election mis and disinformation. It's handing another sort of piece of evidence to the conspiratorial conservatives who are already crying that the election was rigged against Donald Trump. It's crazy that Trump can't win without doing this. And it's crazy that he could lose the election and his cronies could still try to help him take the White House. Okay. I'm going to read a little bit from this Politico article, okay? I'm reading a little bit. 2024 is not 2020. Trump's path to pulling it off this time is even narrower and more extreme. For one thing, Trump lacks some of the tools he threatened to wield 4 years ago to upend the transfer of power. Today, the military and Justice Department answer to Joe Biden. Trump also needs allies to win elections that would put them in a position to reverse a defeat. Overturning a Kamala Harris victory would require an enormous amount of help from Republican power brokers in state houses and Congress, some of whom spurned him 4 years ago. Okay, I'm going to keep reading a little more. Trump's first attempt to exploit the neglected machinery of American democracy also spurred real action by congressional Democrats. Updates to the Electoral Count Act in the wake of Trump's 2020 gambit aimed to bind vote counters, election officials, and even Congress to the results certified by state governments, all of which makes it tougher, in theory, to steal an election. Politico goes on, for election, but Trump is heading into the 2024 election informed by his failure to overturn the results 4 years ago. If he loses, you guys, Trump will face an avalanche of criminal proceedings that Politico writes could last the rest of his life. If he wins, of course, all of those things are likely to just go away. So now Democratic members of Congress like Jamie Raskin and others are really asking themselves out loud, what will Trump do this time around? No one knows exactly what it will be, but they are anticipating that it will happen. Officials, members of Congress, others are already forecasting and saying that no matter what happens on election night, we should expect Donald Trump to come out and declare victory. Remember 2020, he did that? Let's remember that again. That was his strategy in 2016 as well, but, you know, he won. So here is sort of just like a broad roadmap, a general overview, you guys, of the very real scenario that Politico writes about in which Donald Trump could lose the 2024 election and still take power. Are you ready for this? Like, it's disturbing, and I want to know what you guys make of all of this. Okay, first, Trump will deepen distrust in the election results by making repeated, unsupported, uncorroborated, or hyperbolic claims of things like widespread voter fraud, or mounting these sort of long shot lawsuits that are challenging just enough ballots to flip the outcome in key swing states. Then Trump will have to lean on his friendly Republicans, those county and state officials, and ask them to resist certifying election results in Kamala Harris's favor. Even if that's not successful, it will of course just add to this growing pressure campaign on elected Republican officials in Congress and in state houses around the country. Next, Trump will call on allies in Republican-controlled swing state legislatures to then offer up an alternate slate of presidential electors. We saw them try to do this in some places last year. Next, Trump will have to rely on congressional Republicans to endorse and accept these alternate slates of electors. Or at the very least, he will need congressional Republicans to reject Democratic electors when they all have to convene in January to certify the outcome. By trying to ensure that Harris is denied 270 votes in the Electoral College, Trump will ultimately have the election sent to the House of Representatives, where if Republicans have control of that chamber, as they do now, then they will have the numbers, more than likely, they will have the numbers to choose Trump as the next president. It's a lot, you guys. It's a lot. It doesn't mean that just because this roadmap is in place that it will happen or that it can happen easily. That said, some of the necessary steps for this to work are already in place. As I said earlier, I mean, how many times have you guys heard Trump say that, illegal immigrants are voting, or Democrats are casting fake ballots, or stuffing mail ballots, or all these other things? How many Republican officials who stood up to Trump and stood against his attempts to overturn the election last time still have their jobs? Not many of them. Not many of them at all. It's scary. We know that Trump will stop at nothing to win this election, even if it means tearing the country apart in the process. Obviously, if Trump wins outright, no one expects any sort of comparable effort by Democrats to subvert the election results. But every single person expects that Donald Trump will unfairly claim victory on election night, no matter what happens. The stakes are so much higher this year, you guys. They are so much higher. On top of Trump and his cronies launching this plan to have the election go his way no matter what, we're dealing with foreign threats, disinformation and misinformation about the election, about politics from other countries. More than that, AI mis and disinformation is off the charts. People are more gullible than ever. Zach wrote an incredible piece for Axios the other day that was about America's gullibility crisis. I will link all these articles in the show notes, but it's worth reading the whole thing. I mean, it's just outrageous. It is outrageous. The crazy, guys. I was on Twitter earlier, and there's this wild picture of some dude who was on a flight with Nancy Pelosi, and he published 2 photos of Nancy Pelosi, okay? The first one is a blurry close-up photo of her in her seat, presumably taken trying to be a sneaky photo as he's walking by her in the aisle, is what it looked like. And then the second photo was just snapped from far away, and it was her walking in the airport. And this dude claims, incorrectly, with no evidence, that Nancy Pelosi was slamming 7 or more drinks on the plane, and was so wasted but was totally fine or something weird, okay? So then everybody in the comments is believing it to be true, though I'm pretty sure Pelosi famously does not drink at all. In any case, this guy just puts up this disinformation, literally just makes it up for fun, okay? I'm scrolling through the replies. I'm shocked to see how many people believe it to be true. But then somebody posted a photo of Nancy Pelosi that was clearly an AI image, but it looked real. And it was her at like the speaker's lectern in Congress holding like a big glass of whiskey. The photo looked real, okay? But obviously I know that it was AI. And I know that it wasn't real. And it's not funny, but it was just a real example of the many types of AI images that people can just like shoot off. Like without even thinking twice about it, they can just go to their AI image generators and make anything they want. And these things are going crazy viral. Did you guys see the one of the little girl and the dog in Hurricane Milton? All these conservatives were falling for it, and it was so clearly an AI generated image, and yet they're like, oh, look at this heartbreaking image. Democrats won't help kids like her, blah, 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 blah. It's wild. It is wild. And it is seriously a crisis. It is a credibility crisis, and it is a huge problem when people are losing all ability to think critically at any point in time, but especially at such a large scale, and especially during an election. We need people who can think more critically. Instead, we have bad actors, tech billionaires, people with all the resources in the world who can and should know better, who are peddling in these conspiracy theories. It's just crazy. And the crazy part, you guys, is that like the AI deepfakes aren't just happening in some small corner of the internet. They're hitting big platforms. They're hitting voters, aka us, everyone listening. We're all caught in the crosshairs of this. And I feel like if we're not careful, and maybe it's already too late, then AI could be the thing that sways votes in this election, and not in a good way. I've seen AI create crazy things like fake news, fake speeches, fake people. I mean, like, we know that 2020, there was a lot of misinformation, but 2024, AI is just ramping it up to a level I haven't seen in any of my reporting. These deep fake videos of politicians, whether it's Biden or Trump or Kamala Harris, whether it's an image of Nancy Pelosi with a glass of whiskey, all of those things are just being used to confuse voters. There was an AI generated image of like Trump surrounded by a bunch of black women and black supporters that just like was not real. And the problem, of course, is that even when AI deepfakes or mis and disinformation is taken down or corrected and fact checked, the impact is already made. It's already done. So then what? Then what do we do? Here's where I need your help, you guys. Have you seen some of these deepfakes that I'm talking about? Like, do you remember, I think it was in the New Hampshire primary, there was an AI generated robocall where it was like, sounded like Biden, and it was like Biden telling voters to stay home. Like, imagine picking up the phone and hearing that and then realizing it's fake. Like, what? What? So many people are going to be confused, and it is all so insidious. Have you guys seen some of these things or heard some of these things that I'm talking about? I want to know. I want to know what's out there, because I feel like I see some of it, but I don't even see the majority of it. DM me on Instagram or TikTok, or drop a comment with like the wildest political AI video or deepfake that you've seen this cycle. I'll share some of those responses in the next episode, because y'all, we need to we need to keep track of this, and we need to keep talking about how creepy and messed up all of it is. And like I said, I don't see all of it, so I want to know what else is out there. So leave me a comment or send me an email and let me know what you've seen. Okay, so like, this is the other thing about deepfakes and AI. Like, it's so good at figuring out what you care about that it will feed us ads and make candidates look like they're on our side when they're not. Campaigns can use AI to create personalized ads that target people's biggest concerns, and they don't even have to ask you. AI can tell you what you've been searching, what memes you've liked, what podcasts you listen to. So, I mean, sorry, I guess, if this episode gets used against you by AI. I'm mostly kidding. Anyway, okay. I feel like it's helpful to always be skeptical of what you see online, but especially like something that feels like too perfect or too outrageous to be true. You know what I mean? Like chances are if you're like, is that real? It's probably not real. But I fall for things and I will ask Zach all the time. I'm like, is this real? Sometimes I feel silly or stupid, but then I'm like, you know what, Lexi, you have to have patience and grace with yourself because there's so much out there and it is a real crisis where people truly cannot figure out what is real and what is not. So try to fact check everything, whether it's online or with a friend or a trusted source. Do not let AI lead you astray. Just check multiple sources. Obviously, do not rely just on social media to get your news. Obviously, it's easy to do that, but we should not be doing that. We should not be doing that. Like, here's my question, though. Do you still even trust what you see on social media platforms like Instagram or X or TikTok? I feel like every day there's something new and it's hard to tell what's real. Let me know your thoughts because I want to see if anyone still has faith in like Elon Musk's vision for social media. But honestly, okay, like I was saying earlier, I feel like it's not just about technology or the platforms. It's really about us at the end of the day. We are smack dab in the middle of a gullibility crisis, like I said. Zach wrote about this for Axios, and it's just such a good point. Like, people are getting more and more susceptible to misinformation every single day, and it has only gotten worse as AI advances. It's totally like people have forgotten how to think critically, and that is scary as hell. I mean, think about this. Like, whether it's from AI deepfakes, misleading social media posts, or even public figures like Elon Musk, people are more ready and willing than ever to believe the unbelievable. And like this crisis isn't just about falling for the wild conspiracy theories. It's about how, as a country, we are losing our ability to think critically about what we see and hear, especially during something as important as a presidential election when people should be employing more skepticism. And all of this is happening, again, because misinformation spreads fast, but our ability to verify it just simply can't keep up. The speed at which false information goes viral, paired with AI's role in making it more believable, is creating a perfect shitstorm for 2024. And the scarier part is that so many people just believe all of it. Musk and other influential figures have been criticized nonstop for not doing enough to stop the spread of misinformation. And like I said before, even when corrections are issued, it's like people are often already convinced of the falsehood or the lie that they saw. During this election cycle, we've already seen AI bots and manipulated content cause chaos and put up posts that suggest incorrect voting dates or like the wrong polling locations, trying to get people to go to the wrong place. Marlon? No. Some even claim certain elections have already been won before they've taken place. It's crazy. And once those lies are out there, it's so hard to take them back. And at the end of the day, this constant exposure to false or misleading information is contributing to a much larger issue, which is that voters aren't just struggling to differentiate between what's real and what's fake. They're quickly losing trust in all major information sources. So here's my plea, you guys. Please do not believe everything you see online. Fact check, ask questions, and if something feels too convenient, dig deeper. In a world where AI can make anything look real, we need to put it on ourselves to be smarter than ever. Okay, now my favorite part, our controversial question of the week. Do you think AI is going... Do you think AI is going to destroy democracy, or is it just a tool that we can learn to use responsibly? I really want to know what you think. I need to hear your thoughts on this one. So send me your takes on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you're listening. And like I said earlier, I'll feature some of your responses in the next episode. So the spicier, the more specific, the weirder, the better. Send them in. Okay, friends, we made it. Thank you for sticking with me through this wild ride. Obviously, AI can be totally amazing, and I'm excited by a lot of its applications. But when it comes to elections and mis and disinformation, it's truly terrifying. So stay informed, stay skeptical, and most importantly, stay in sync. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you subscribe, leave a review, and follow me on TikTok and Instagram for more updates. And remember, send me those deepfakes you've come across, you guys. I want to see the craziest ones out there. Thank you again for listening. Thank you for all the reviews and ratings. I appreciate you all, and I will see you next week. Bye.